and welcome to my channel. This is Bruce Borjo, and today I'm going to be talking about 6 tricks to be successful before you quit that full-time job. So if you're thinking of quitting your full-time job and becoming a full-time entrepreneur, then this video is for you. In this video, I'm going to highlight some of the important challenges you may encounter when you decide to quit that regular steady job to become a full entrepreneur. This video is especially focused on becoming an entrepreneur on online marketing, but I feel the principles are the same for any type of entrepreneur or business you're going to get into. I will also offer some helpful methods that you could use to get through these tough times ahead. Yeah, as I'm finding out myself, being an entrepreneur is not easy. So to prepare for the transition, be prepared for people to ask you a lot about the job and what you're doing. Like, are you ready to quit your job? Are you really going to do it? Why are you doing that? What are you going to do? What's that mean? And oh, okay, good luck, you know. So be prepared for all those type of weird questions. And the one thing I suggest is just stick to your story. Stick with what you think of that you're going to get into at the time, and just stay with that, because it most likely is going to change anyways. So don't be too worried about it right now. Just I'd be more worried about changing your story all the time and people thinking about different things, and you're not even clear if you're telling Bob this and Joe that. And well, just stay focused on one thing at a time, and don't worry about how it's going to turn out a month or 2 or 5 years from now. So yeah, it's going to be a different transitional stage for you as it is for me. There's going to be some, might be an idea to keep the finer details of what you're doing and how you're doing it to yourself for now. So when you do decide to quit your job, you should keep the process of working at, don't forget this, well, you have to decide, basically what I'm trying to say is you have to decide, what am I going to do? Am I going to keep my job, or am I going to quit my job, or am I going to do the online or the marketing entrepreneurship alongside of my regular jobs? Because there are people that can do that. They can keep their regular job and start their entrepreneur business on the side. That's going to be a little bit challenging. So I don't know. It's still doable, but it'd be challenging depending, I guess, what you're getting into. I'm just thinking maybe it could be really complicated, but maybe it doesn't have to be. So here's a few pointers to consider before even thinking about going into entrepreneurship. I'm going to include the document to this, so you can follow along if you want. I'll include a link in the description below for you. So here's a few ideas to think about before even going into this idea of being an entrepreneur. If you're going into marketing, like myself, you're going to have to decide on what type of business you're getting into, and if it is marketing, like me, and you have no marketing experience, it's going to be a challenge. And if you're trying to keep your job on the side, well, for full time, I mean, and you're learning marketing on the side, it'll be challenging. And be prepared to do a lot of computer work. So it's quite possible that you can have your full-time job and learn a new skill on the side. I mean, I've done it with different things, but this is a business. So this is a business for a job. So you might have other commitments going on at the same time, right? And the next point is, this is going to be a change in your lifestyle eventually, and a change in career. So you're going to be getting into a completely different type of lifestyle and working schedule. Be prepared to be out of your comfort zone. That's all I gotta say, that's for sure. So of course, maybe that's obvious, but it depends on what business you're getting to. Even if it's almost identical to what you're doing now, you're still going to be having to think differently as your own boss and being an entrepreneur, because you now have a business. So I suggest maybe for one of the last points, before you decide to become an entrepreneur, you can kind of test out the waters and start the process now, while you still have your job, but just start thinking like an entrepreneur. Do some research on what it takes to be an entrepreneur. Start your mind and body into the process of becoming used to the idea of the habits and the information that you have to take in. Be prepared for the training. Like, get prepared. Find out where you're going to get your new skills from. How much is it going to cost, and all these type of things. And then start acting like a successful entrepreneur. Because when you start acting like a successful entrepreneur and you have a successful business, that's what you're going to attract to yourself. So then, after all that, ask yourself, are you ready? Is this really what I want? So if you decided, yeah, this is what I want, then uh, the next steps that I have pointed out might be helpful for you. Good for you if you decide that you're going to go ahead with it. That's great. Um, but how serious are you? And these next 6 tricks, um, these are my own, but think of this before quitting that job. Um, you might be able to do it on the side. So before you decide to quit that job, stay focused. Stay focused on your job at hand. You have a full-time job, make sure you complete that job and do that job like you're supposed to. It's a big decision deciding that to have an entrepreneurship and starting your own business. So you can't forget about that current job that you're trying to keep down. This is an exciting time, so don't jeopardize that. It's a big learning curve. Point number 2. Um, don't get discouraged or anything like that or overwhelmed. I know it is easy, and I know I have been, but you might be getting into an area you have little experience in and lots to learn, so it's easy to get overwhelmed. And what I got to remember for myself is that I'm starting at the bottom of a big learning curve. So I know nothing about marketing when I first started, and I only had 10 months of experience into this stuff. So point number 3 is the skills you're going to be learning for this new business or you're being an entrepreneur might be new skills to you, for you, and they might open up new possibilities no matter what you do. So like marketing, these marketable skills that I'm learning right now will go will serve me no matter what I do. They're going to be leverageable. They have leverage, and they're going to be sought after by other businesses. I'm going to be learning how to market things online and offline. And marketing is just marketing. I should be able to find a job with marketing no matter how this all turns out. But you know, maybe yourself too. Trick number 4 or tip number 4 is it's a new mindset you're going to be training yourself in. This is a big change. You're leaving your steady job and you're becoming your own boss. This is a new mindset. Get used to it. You might have to ask yourself a couple of big questions. For example, where's your new office going to be? Uh, how am I going to work this out with my family? Or this is a new type of discipline you're going to have to. Maybe you've always been used to the boss telling you what to do, and be showing up on this and time and doing this at this because that's the way it is. Well, now you have choices. This is a new mindset, so be prepared for that. Tip number 5. My tips for number 5 is freelance work. You can keep your job and maybe have some freelance jobs on the side. These freelance jobs might be skills that are going to help you in your new business, but maybe you can start the process of going through these steps by freelancing your skills out first. See what it's kind of testing the waters first of your new business and getting paid for it. You can check all about freelance work online. Just look for freelance work and whatever your skill may be, coaching or dog walking or whatever. Tip number 6 is you can start committing yourself to your new business idea now before you go into it, before you make that commitment, meaning before you quit your job. Keep your goals and your sight and your visions of your dream alive while you're holding down that job. And this will drive you. Commit to your goals and your visions, and this will lead you towards success. So, that's it for the 6 tips. You might not be holding your job down like I didn't. I got laid off and I had no job to hold down, so I could focus differently. But just don't rush into things. It's a big learning curve, and I'm sure everybody's list is different. That was my tips, my 6 tips, but everybody has different ideas and stuff, and you can let me know in the comments below if you want. I encourage that. Give me a thumbs up or whatever. So personally, I didn't have any of these things before I became an entrepreneur. I didn't have a mentor or I didn't have anybody give me any tips. and I became a little overwhelmed and scattered and no guidance. So, I only have my experience so far. So I would, it would have been nice to have these things, and maybe I would have researched things a little differently if I would have known some things beforehand. Um, so it's been challenging for me in the marketing for sure, becoming an online marketer. So there's been a lot of self-doubt, and you're going to come across some self-doubt too. And these little voices are going to be talking to you. Those are just limiting beliefs there. The limiting beliefs, the things that you believed in when you were a child and that you're programmed in, and you don't even realize sometimes you have them. But they're going to try to talk you out of a lot of these things that you're going to get into. So just try to train yourself to forget about them and choose the path that you really want. And it's always easier to find that path once you know it's, you know, and don't follow the path that is the easiest. Challenge yourself and get out of the box. I guess that's what I was trying to say. You have to create new ways of thinking and think like an entrepreneur. You have to think non-linear now, out of the box like an entrepreneur. You have to reprogram your brain and reprogram your ways of thinking, new neural pathways. Keep those old thoughts way away. Just talk yourself out of them. Start with a new me and a new business with new positive beliefs. And I think you'll do well, because that's what I'm going to do. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you'd like to learn more about marketing, I'll leave my #1 choice below, and I'll also leave my #1 suggestion on how you can start into that with a 15-day online business builder challenge. And for the next 15 days, 13 days, you should be able to partake in their new free boot camp, and that'll challenge you, and you'll learn new skills and some free coaching, more free coaching for you. So hope you've enjoyed this, and all the best, and see you on the next video. Bye for now.